Today we're talking to Michael Tellinger. Thanks for talking to me, Michael, and I really appreciate this. I know you're an extremely busy man, but God bless you for giving us just words of wisdom here. He's going to briefly mention Ubuntu and whatever else you want to talk about, so go for it.
Well, thanks very much. I'm not really sure what angle you pick up on this little chat, so maybe you can steer me in the right direction.
Okay, I think most of our audience would probably not have been red-pilled. Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Okay, so just kind of give them a gentle red pill there, if you would.
Well, I think most people in the world realize that something is not quite right with the system, the socioeconomic system that we are born into. And at some stage of our lives, we start to wonder, what is this all about? You know, why do I have to work like a slave to make ends meet? Why does this drudgery just go on and on? There seems to be no relief. And I sort of woke up to this in 2005 when I was doing research on my book, Slave Species of God. And I realized that there was a time in human history when money didn't exist. So I started to research the true origins of money, what money was, where did it come from, and who created it, and how was it introduced to humanity. And to my shock and horror, I discovered that everything I was told about money was wrong, was incorrect, that money, was not a consequence of human evolution or gold and banking and all this kind of stuff, that there's a very darker and deeper, much more ancient story to the origins of money. And it goes back to the Sumerian times, when we read in the Sumerian tablets when kingdom was lowered to earth from heaven, and these mysterious royal bloodlines and kings, the first kings, suddenly mysteriously appear on earth. And then to my complete disbelief, I realized that these first kings were the first guys that actually created money in the forms of clay tablets as tokens of exchange for taking people's gold and silver away from them, and gave them little clay tablet tokens and never gave it back to them. They just basically robbed the people of all their possessions. And so these first priest kings essentially became the first bankers, and their temples became their banks, and they started issuing what we would call today the first promissory notes or bills of exchange in the forms of clay tablets. And that's the true origins of money. So it arose as a complete and utter tool of enslavement of humanity, and not as a tool to help humanity. Mm-hmm. And this enslavement continues today through the banking system and the Rothschild banking empire, and where banks basically just create money out of thin air. There is no value, nothing supporting it. It is just a total and utter slavery control system, and we're all born into it. And out of this realization then came the terrible quest, or the exciting quest, should I rather say, to figure out, well, what will happen if we remove money from the system? And the more I started thinking about what would happen if we remove money from the system, the more I thought about it, the more exciting it became. And I realized that the moment you remove money from the system, things become a lot easier. Yeah. And we start to cooperate and collaborate and achieve great things for ourselves, for the benefit of humanity, our communities, our families, and ourselves, rather than for the benefit of corporations or governments or other, people that give us a job or enslave us, or ask us to do something not for our own benefit but for somebody else's benefit. And this then led to the formation of the Ubuntu movement and the concept of contributionism, yep, where people contribute their skills and talents for the benefit of everyone in their community. And very quickly you realize that this is a very simple solution for a huge problem that we face every day. And by simply replacing replacing competition with cooperation and collaboration.
Right.
And everything changes beautifully, seamlessly, and for the greater benefit of everyone.
Yes, that sounds wonderful. Why are so many people resistant to it?
Well, the people aren't resistant to it, they just don't know it. So what I find is that the Ubuntu movement has grown exponentially as people are desperate everywhere. Yeah. They want out of the system, they want out of the slavery, but they don't know what to do. And because we're all brought up through the system, this society, this is our reality, and it's very difficult for people to try and figure out how to get out of this. And what we do with the Ubuntu movement now for the last 12 years, basically since 2005, through a process of trials and tribulations and experiences and doing all kinds of things, starting intentional communities and projects and this and that, even getting involved in politics to try and inject this seed of consciousness into the political beast.
Yes.
Learning from all these experiences, realizing that we were all doing the wrong thing. Trying to oppose, trying to resist, and that is the old paradigm thinking.
Right, and so many disempowered people thinking that they can't change things.
Yes, and this has all led to the concept of one small town can change the world, where we had to pull back from all our sort of 12 years of learning, realizing what we should not do, and realizing that we can make a change without any violence, opposition, or conflict by using the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation. So we use the corporate structure, we use the control system, we use money, we use everything around us, the laws, the legal systems, the towns, the mayors, the town councils, everything. The only thing we do change is we change the competition aspect, and we replace competition with cooperation and collaboration within our small community. We've also realized that it is the small towns where we can reach the hearts and minds of the people much easier than in the big cities. So this now has become, as I said, one small town can change the world philosophy, and it is just going crazy. I have mayors from probably 10 countries talking to me at the moment that want to implement it. We already have one mayor in Canada that's already started to implement this. And I believe that in the next 12 to 24 months, we're going to see a rapid growth in the number of mayors that implement our one small town policy, because mayors all over the world, I found, to my disbelief as well, seem to all face the same problems.
Yes.
A lack of money, a lack of resources for delivery of services that they're supposed to be delivering to their people, and it's just getting worse and worse every year.
Yeah, I think rather than tackling it from the top, sometimes it needs to trickle up.
Yeah.
Like one of the things that's happening in this community is crop swaps, where people just get together and whatever they have that's overabundance in their garden, they trade for other things.
Yeah, that's a great way to start. So, we encourage people to go and start, cooperative farms and crop swaps and these kind of things, and just to get away from this thing called money. But essentially, the only way we're going to really make a change is, and this came from, as I said, 12 years of learning and experiences of what not to do. So we have to use the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation. So by approaching a mayor of a small town that is desperate, that wants to find a way out and wants to find solutions for the problems of, homelessness, for joblessness and lack of services, etc. The towns are falling apart, farms are standing empty, warehouses and factories are standing empty, people don't have jobs, and so forth. So with the one small town strategy, the mayor becomes the driving force and the face and the marketing voice of turning the town around and creating prosperity and abundance for their community. And what happens the moment the mayor takes this stance and this perspective, the most incredible thing happens. Inventors, researchers, healers, creative people gravitate towards that town and that community, because the mayor has now said and invited the people from around the world to come participate in their town and community. Not only that, investors begin to contact that mayor. And I know this because this has already happened in North Frontenac, where the inventors and the investors approach the mayor and say, listen, I love what you're doing, I want to invest in your town. So what this takes is the mayor doesn't require any money, any funding. There's no downside to this. They're not going to lose anything. They're not risking anything. They're just making a conscious decision from the mayor and the town council, supported by the people, that we're going to turn our town around. And that vision for their town attracts all the tools and the investors to make this a reality.
Thank you, Michael. We're at Contact in the Desert in Southern California, Palm Desert, and this has been a wonderful opportunity to talk to you. Could you tell me about your latest book? briefly?
Well, the latest book is about 3 years old or 4 years old now, so that's the Ubuntu Contributionism book.
Okay.
And I really recommend people get it and read it, because that will give them a background on money and the whole social corruption money system. So when they do talk to others about it, they have a bit of background and a foundation of information.
Right. How do they get that book?
They can get it online. Go onto my website, either michaeltellinger.com or ubuntuplanet.org. And sign up, join the movement, spread the message, and become an active participant in co-creating a future of prosperity and abundance for everyone.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.